What you tell yourself every morning matters more than you think. Psychology explained. Opening hook, the silent conversation that shapes your life before you check your phone, before you speak to anyone else, before the world asks anything of you. There is a voice that already spoke to you. It didn't shout, didn't demand, but it quietly set the tone for your entire day. Most people never notice it, yet this voice influences how confident you feel, how focused you are, and how you react to stress more than any external event. Today, we're going to explore why what you tell yourself every morning matters far more than you think, how this inner dialogue rewires your brain, and how a simple shift can begin to change the way you experience your entire life. Point 1. Your brain wakes up listening, not thinking. When you wake up in the morning, your brain is not fully online yet. Psychologically, you're transitioning from theta brainwaves associated with imagination and subconscious processing to beta waves, where logic and conscious thought dominate. This transition period is crucial. During the first 30 to 60 minutes after waking, your mind is highly suggestible. It's less critical, less defensive, less analytical. In simple terms, your brain is listening more than it's questioning. This is why thoughts you repeat in the morning sink deeper than those later in the day. If the first thing you tell yourself is, "I'm already behind. Today is going to be exhausting. I don't have the energy for this." Your nervous system doesn't argue, it prepares. Heart rate adjusts, stress hormones rise, tension narrows, not because the day is actually stressful, but because your brain believes you just predicted it. Your morning self-talk doesn't describe reality. It creates the lens through which reality is experienced. 2. Self-talk. It's not motivation, it's identity programming. Most people think self-talk is about motivation. It's not. Motivation is temporary. Self-talk is structural. From a psychological perspective, repeated inner dialogue functions as identity reinforcement. Every time you tell yourself, "I'm not a morning person, I always mess things up, I'm bad under pressure," you're not stating a fact. You're rehearsing a role. Your brain seeks consistency. Once an identity is declared internally, your behavior, attention, memory begin aligning with it automatically. This is called cognitive consistency bias. You notice evidence that supports your self-story and ignore what contradicts it. So when your morning self-talk frames you as tired, overwhelmed, or incapable, your brain subconsciously looks for proof all day long, and the more proof it finds, the more real that identity feels. Not because it's true, because it's repeated. 3. The nervous system obeys the first command here. Something rarely talked about. Your nervous system doesn't respond to logic. It responds to signals, and the first signal of the day carries disproportionate weight. If your morning thoughts are rushed, or judgmental or self-critical, your nervous system enters sympathetic mode, fight or flight, even if nothing is happening. Yet, you may feel restless without reason, irritable over small things, mentally scattered, emotionally reactive on the other hand. When your first internal message is calm and grounded, even neutral, your nervous system shifts toward parasympathetic regulation. That's the state associated with clear thinking, emotional stability, focus, creativity. The difference between a chaotic day and a centered one often begins before you leave the bed, not with productivity hacks, not with discipline, but with the emotional tone you set internally. For most people, speak to themselves in a way they'd never speak to others. Imagine waking someone you care about and saying, "Get up. You're already behind. Don't mess this up like you always do." You'd never do that. Yet many people run this exact script in their own mind. Every morning, psychology calls this internalized criticism, often learned early in life from external authority figures and unconsciously repeated as self-talk. The brain doesn't distinguish between a voice coming from the outside, a voice coming from within. Both trigger emotional responses. So when your inner voice is harsh, your brain interprets it as a threat. And a threatened brain cannot perform at its best. Peak performance doesn't come from pressure. It comes from psychological safety. And the first place that safety or threat is established is in your own mind. 5. Morning self-talk should be directional, not positive. Here's where many people get it wrong. Morning self-talk is not about forcing positivity. Telling yourself, "I'm amazing, everything will be perfect, I feel great," when you don't believe it, creates resistance. Your brain pushes back. Instead, effective morning self-talk is directional, not emotional. It doesn't deny reality, it guides attention. Examples: I don't need to solve everything today. I can move one step at a time. I'll respond, not react. I'm allowed to begin calmly. These statements don't hype you up. They stabilize you. They give your nervous system a clearer, non-threatening path forward. And once the nervous system is regulated, focus follows naturally. 6. The compounding effect you never see coming. One calm morning won't change your life, but repeated mornings shape your baseline. Psychologically, what you repeat becomes familiar. What becomes familiar feels safe. What feels safe becomes automatic. After weeks of intentional morning self-talk, people often report less anxiety without trying, clearer thinking under pressure, better emotional boundaries, improved self-trust net, because life got easier, but because their internal environment changed. And when your internal environment is stable, external chaos loses its power. Point 7. A simple practice that takes less than 1 minute. Here's a grounded, realistic practice you can try tomorrow, before touching your phone, before standing up. Ask yourself one question silently. How do I want to move through today? Not what you want to achieve, not what you fear, how you want to move. Then choose one short phrase that reflects that state, with steadiness, with clarity, without rushing, with self-respect. Repeat it once or twice. That's it. No affirmations, no visualization, just a signal. Over time, a single habit can recondition how your mind enters the day. Closing, you are always listening to yourself, whether you realize it or not. You are always speaking to yourself. The question is not if that voice matters. The question is it shaping your life intentionally or by default? If this message resonated with you, take a moment to reflect on what your inner voice sounds like each morning. And if you're interested in learning more about how subtle mental shifts create profound change, explore the other videos on Awaken. Mindset. Remember, the most influential conversation of your life is the one you have with yourself. Every morning,